The arms. They make us look better in a t-shirt, and we want to look juicy. Mine aren't too big, but I have grown them a little bit, so I just want to show you how you can train arms. Anyways, let's get into it. And to begin, let's understand what makes up the arm. On the front side, we have the bicep, and this muscle has two heads, the short head and the long head. And beneath the bicep lies the brachialis, and increasing its size will push the biceps up and out more. And the triceps are also a thing, but we'll talk about them later. As for the biceps, they have three main functions: elbow flexion, which is just curling, forearm supination, or just rotating your palm up, and shoulder flexion, or just, lifting your arm up. That being said, there's no need to overthink it. A lot of the growth in our bicep is gonna come from these compound movements we're doing. Exercises like pull-ups, chin-ups, any type of row variation, basically any pulling exercise is gonna somewhat target our biceps. And if you're into calisthenics, training towards some of those exercises like the planche or the back lever will also put load on the biceps even though they're straight arm exercises. And being that this is the smallest major muscle group in our body, you can get really good growth in your biceps with just these alone. That being said, to maximize our guns, I personally believe you have to add in some isolation exercises as well to really get those things that pop. And we don't have to do anything crazy, we just need a curl. However, there's a few different ways we can curl to target different areas of the bicep, and little things like our grip and our orientation are gonna affect the movement. And let's start with the most basic one because it's all anyone really needs to grow big biceps, and that's barbell or easy bar curls. And this one's nice because it's easy to progressively overload and get stronger with it over time, and it's really just preference if you wanna use an easy bar or a regular bar, or even dumbbells. As long as you're keeping good form and getting stronger with it over time, you're gonna activate your biceps regardless of what variation you're doing. And as you push yourself for this one, you might wear out at the end. And although I said form's important, a few sloppy reps to get the weight up so you can focus on the negative isn't the end of the world. Just don't go too far. That's just something I like to do. Of course, you can just lower the weight and finish out the reps with something you can control. And after I get my main curling movement out of the way, I like to move to an exercise that puts my arm in a lengthened position to really target the long head. And my two favorite exercises for that is the first one being Bayesian curls. And this is just a fancy way of saying a cable bicep curl performed facing away from the cable station. But it's a really good exercise and you'll be able to feel it through the entire range of motion. Incline dumbbell curls are great too, and with a full hang at the bottom, you'll really feel that stretch and be able to emphasize the long head. It's also good to incorporate an exercise that works the shortened position so we can emphasize the short head. For this, I like to include spider curls, and you really just want to squeeze it at the top, but this one's great to target that short head and you'll really get a nice pump. As for the brachialis, the two exercises that I like to do to target this muscle are hammer curls and reverse grip barbell curls. Both of these movements are gonna hit the brachialis and help us grow them arms. And if you just have body weight, chin-ups is the way to go. Although it's a compound movement and it will include your back a little bit, it's still gonna build beefy biceps. And once the movement stops being challenging, you just gotta add weight so you continue to progress, or you can move to a more difficult variation like a one-arm pull-up progression. An example of this would be a one-arm negative, where you get up to the top of the bar and then hold for as long as you can on the way down, which is gonna put a lot of load on your bicep and it's pretty difficult. So if you need to use an assistance band, that's totally all right, and that can help you build up the strength. But if you can't do chin-ups yet, you can use an assistance band for that, or you can do negative chin-ups. Either way, it's gonna help you build up the strength and work your biceps. But if you need some more baseline strength to build up to those ones, you can add in Australian pull-ups with a reverse grip and just elevate your feet when you want to make it more difficult. You can also just do bicep curls with rings or a TRX band. Just get creative and put resistance on the muscle. And there's a lot of bicep exercises out there. It's really just preference. If you want to emphasize a certain muscle, then put that one into your routine, but just find ones that you like that you want to get stronger at. Now let's talk about the triceps, because developing a horseshoe is going to help us well, I guess it doesn't really do anything, it just kind of looks cool. There's three heads of the tricep: the lateral head, the medial head, and the long head. And they have the function of elbow extension. And once again, compound movements help us grow this muscle as well. And movements like the bench press, push-ups, and dips, any pushing movement is going to target our triceps as well. And since we're able to load a lot of weight onto these compound movements, it makes them very effective for growing our triceps. And one of the best is the close grip bench press. And for this one, you don't want to have too narrow of a grip. I'd say shoulder width is a good place to be, but having heavy pressing movements in your routine is the best place to start when growing your triceps. Although we still want to add in some isolation movements if we want to maximize our triceps. And for these isolation exercises, I like to perform one with my arms above my head and another movement with my shoulders in a flexed position, so we can get a well-rounded horseshoe. The long head is found at the back of our arm, and we can emphasize it when our elbows extend overhead because it allows for the greatest stretch on the muscle. So doing exercises like overhead extensions, or this version of cable overhead extensions that's a little bit less on the joints, or you can do overhead extensions with one arm, or you can do overhead extensions with a dumbbell, or my personal favorite, tricep overhead extensions on an incline bench. Basically any overhead extension. And for the lateral head, we can do tricep push down. And with our body weight, we can still get a really good tricep workout. And some great exercises are, of course, with our body weight overhead extensions. You can also do Sphinx push-ups, which is pretty tough. And another great one to really focus on your triceps is diamond push-ups, as the narrow grip puts more load on your triceps and also makes the push-up more difficult. However, like I said before, just doing regular push-ups and dips is another great way to just grow your triceps. And for the forearms, I just like to do farmer carries, because have you ever seen a farmer with small forearms? That's what I thought. It's a good exercise, challenging, and it's helped grow my forearms. I also like to train dead hangs with one arm as well as two, which helps with my grip strength, which helps me get more pull-ups. And that's what I'm all about. Hopefully this helps you look better in a t-shirt. And if you have any tips on how you got your arms beefy, please comment down below. Otherwise, have a great day. Peace.